Welcome back everyone to another episode of Allsouthangler. I'm Charlie Jones. I've got a lot of feedback from friends and family about ways to improve, and one of them I agree is probably to make videos just a little shorter. So to try to get the videos on Instagram, TV, and some other venues, I'm going to try to keep them to 15 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes or less. Love fishing. Got a lot to talk about. I feel like I got a lot to share, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. But today I'm here to talk to you about Matrix Shad. It's a great bait. It's a great lure. It's a versatile presentation. I don't use it as much in the marsh as a lot of people do. I definitely use it a lot at the islands. It is my primary sight fishing presentation if I'm not fly fishing. I would say I probably fish it mostly on an 1/8 of an ounce jig head, but I got some laid out here, some of the popular colors, jig heads, different presentations, so we'll adjust the camera and get down to it and see what it looks like. Alright folks, here we have an assortment of the most popular colors that I believe people use here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. This is the standard Matrix Shad, and starting from the top we have Shrimp Creole, we have Green Hornet, Avocado, Holy Jolly, and Limbo Slice. Me personally, these three are my favorite, you know, as lined up from top to these next three here. That's what I've had the most luck on. And like I said, I throw this a lot at the island sight fishing, and these two here, when the water's a little stained, I like to go with the Green Hornet for more contrast. When it's really clear and you're trying to be a little bit more subtle to not spook the fish, I'll go with the Shrimp Creole there. You can see here we have a basic round jig head. Now here we have a 1/4 ounce and a 1/8 ounce. I like to use 1/4 ounce down to maybe 4 foot max, maybe 5 foot if I'm really finesse fishing and there's not a lot of current and you're trying to you know, really coax them into biting. And then from there, the 1/4 ounce, I'll fish it from where the 1/8 ounce falls off down to maybe even 10 foot, 12 foot or so. Once again, it's got a lot to do with current and how the fish are biting and where they're wanting it. Sometimes they want that 1/4 ounce in 4 or 5 foot of water. They want it falling really fast. But I can say one of the keys to fishing these soft plastics is pretty much staying in contact with the bottom. Most of the guys will throw this soft plastic out, let it fall to the bottom. You'll see your line go slack. Give it a double pop or jig it twice. While you're reeling in slack, you know, you want to pop it and reel in slowly at the same time, so that when you make that second pop, your rod is going up and away from you at around a 45-degree angle as you're feeling that lure fall back down to the floor, the sea floor, the bottom of the marsh there, waiting for that bite. Because if you have your rod pointing straight up at 12 o'clock when you feel that bite, it's going to be really tough to set the hook. You'll notice here on these jig heads that they have a longer barb. It's almost like a double barb. This is a collar here, and then on the end is a barb. And you can see the same thing with these golden eye jig heads. It really holds the lure a lot better. Holds the plastic onto the jig head and get a lot more use out of it. And these here, I pour these myself with a 2X Mustad 2/0 hook. They work really well. Here's one rigged. And something I'd like to point out, whenever you're rigging these lures up, try to take the time to rig them up so that they're straight. Because if you don't, and this lure has a dip in it, or the plastic when it is threaded onto the jig head is not straight, it can spiral as it falls, or when you jig it, it will spiral and you'll get a lot of line twist, and it honestly just doesn't look as natural. What you're wanting with this presentation is the lure to fall head up and down, head up and down. Well, steady retrieves work at times, but you're going to get most of your hits, most of your bites when you're jigging it. And also a knot I like to use here instead of my standard tri-lean knot where I am anchoring directly to the eye. I like to use a loop knot. I feel like it induces a lot more action. All right, now I was talking about rigging them And you can see here, this one is rigged crooked. You can see that one's threaded on improperly, and I guarantee you that one's going to twist a lot and it's not going to work as well. Another tip I have for you, when you get these lures, pull on them. Pull on this plastic almost to the point of breaking it, and you'll cause little micro tears in this tail. And what that'll do is allow that paddle tail to work easier, because I'm sure we've all fished a lure and it seems like the more we use it, the better it gets and the more fish it's catching. Well, a lot of times this plastic's just limbering up a lot and it does get a better action. You do get more bites. So, you know, pull on that guy, work it around a little bit, and, you know, pull it out. Man, I broke a couple of them. I might break this one right now trying to show you, but you'll notice as you work it, this tail will start to fall lower and lower, and the lower that tail falls, I can tell you the more limber that plastic is and the better action you're going to get out of it. Matrix Shad, I've noticed right out of the pack, a lot of times when they're falling, the paddle tail doesn't like to work unless you're on a 1/4 ounce, where it makes a lot of speed when it's falling. You get this thing and you work it a pretty good bit, with that 1/8 ounce, you're going to notice you're going to get some tail movement while it's falling. Another popular way to rig these, the guys that go in for redfish, and I'm sure Specs will hit it too, is, man, pretty much just like the oversized beetle spin. Rig it on a snap spinner there, and that is a killer in the marsh. And man, people that fish a lot and know what's going on will pretty much tell you beetle spin's where it's at, and that's all that thing is an overgrown beetle spin. When you get on Matrix Shad's website, you'll notice that they also sell the GoldenEye jig head. It's a very popular jig head. For the presentation, a lot of people use it. It's a great jig head. I just went to pouring mine because, well, just the more tackle I can make myself and utilize, the more enjoyment I have out of it. And the last thing I would like to add is these presentations here, I prefer it with the 1/8 ounce jig head because you get a little slower fall after the pop, are also great to put under, you know, a quality popping cork, and catch a lot of fish on it. All right, folks, so there you have the legendary Matrix Shad. I mean, it is a killer of a lure. I mean, it's an absolute hammer. That plastic probably accounts for hundreds, thousands of pounds per season of fish put in boats on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So in the interest of trying to keep them short, like I said at the beginning, I'm going to close with that. It's a great lure. Get out there on the Gulf Coast, find out what Mississippi has to offer, enjoy our great outdoors. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.